Hey there riders, Journo Kris here today, and I wanted to talk about the ergonomics of the Kawasaki Z900RS. I'm borrowing MotoHub in Castle Hill's demo bike. It's a practically brand new machine, and I thought I'd give you a bit of an idea of how I fit the bike. I'm 180 centimeters, I got a 32-inch inseam, I'm about 75 kilos, and let's have a look. So one thing to keep in mind, this bike has an 835mm seat height. As you can see here, I'm just in regular road boots. I've got both feet down flat. That's very, very natural. The seat is reasonably narrow at the front, and between the legs is probably the narrowest part of the bike there. You don't have the engine directly where you're putting your feet down. And also my feet go down between the peg and the brake and the shifter. So it does give it the most direct shot down to the ground. It makes it as an inviting bike as possible if you're on the shorter side of things. As I said, I'm a 32-inch inseam, and the 835mm seat height is normally pretty much ideal for me, and that's certainly the case here. Grabbing hold of those bars, as you can see, it's a nice upright seating position. They're quite wide bars, they've got a bit of bend back to them, and they're quite tall as well. I wouldn't want to be reaching much further forward, I've got to say, but it's pretty much ideal for me. There are adjustable levers on the front there as well, so people with different kind of hand sizes are going to be able to use those hand controls really well. Good adjustability in those mirrors, which are nice and wide, so they're around you, you're going to get good vision. And looking at that dash, it's got a very traditional dash. Speedo on the left, tacho on the right, and there's a little digital display in the middle, which gives you your traction control setting as well as your gear, which is nice to see. I do find that the speed gauge is probably a little bit on the small side, and because I was having so much fun, it's important to keep an eye basically on the speed you're doing, because you can get into a bit of trouble otherwise. So I really like that classically styled dash. There's good visibility. There's a big light up here. The indicator light is quite visible as well, so you won't forget and leave that on. But I'm kind of getting used to the digital displays with the speed being a bit more prominent. When it comes to fit on the bike, it is pretty much perfect for me. Moving around on the bike itself, I found really easily, even through the twisties. Getting a toe up as well on the bike. They are rubber clad pegs. There's not really very many vibrations through those bars at all. This isn't an inline four, so it should be pretty smooth. I noticed at a certain point when I was knocking it up through the gears, there was a tiny little bit of vibration I'd feel, but if I rode a little bit harder and kept it in the meatier part of the rev range, that just went away instantly. And I wouldn't have said it was enough to really annoy me or anything like that. Certainly nothing that I'd really be complaining about. So moving around on the bike is super easy. I find it a really ideal fit for me. It's got quite a low tank, but it's quite a wide tank, and gripping with my knees, very natural. I'm kind of grabbing onto these panels here, but it's by no means uncomfortable or anything like that. And the overall seating position of the bike is really nice. It's relaxed, it's upright, gives you a commanding view, easy control, so if you're stuck in traffic or anything like that, it's still going to be a fun thing to ride. It was perfect in the traffic this morning, no issues at all there. Obviously it has got a little bit of punchiness to the engine, so that's probably the only thing that you're going to be concerned about, but it's still nicely smoothed enough that that's not a concern. But see my full test for the kind of idea of the bike overall. As far as other adjustability, you've got fully adjustable forks on the front end, so depending on how much you weigh, you should still be able to get the bike suited to you quite easily. On the rear, you're getting, I think it was rebound and preload adjustability. It's not a fully adjustable rear shock, but for me at 75 kilos, does the job really well. Over some of the harsher stuff, I was feeling the rear moving a little bit more freely than I perhaps would like, but the reality is it's quite a sporty setup in the suspension. The bike does weigh 210 kilos, which is not on the light side of things, but when you're riding it, that weight falls away very quickly. It's got a nice balance to it. It's got a nice weight distribution, both front and rear, and as far as that center of gravity, it's by no means a hard machine to ride even at low speeds, but pushing this around, obviously with the the raised bars, it's going to make it a little bit easier. However, it is still a reasonably heavy machine. So overall, if you're thinking about Kawasaki's Z900RS, I would definitely go and sit on one in the dealer and see whether you fit the bike. I think it's an exceptional machine. Check out my full review for kind of a more in-depth rundown of the bike itself, because I really like this bike. I think as long as you can get one foot down flat, which should be relatively easy for most people of a similar inseam length to me, or even those a little bit shorter, I think you'll find this an easy bike to jump onto if you've got a bit of experience under your belt. If you've got any questions about the Z900RS as far as the ergonomics, just let me know down below in the comments. As always, thanks for watching and stay safe out there.